when you start to hear that tickety-tock-tock of your biological clock, honey, a lot of women start to freak on out and about needing to have on a baby right now and before it's too late. But what if you could hit the pause button? Yeah, our next guest did just that. 30-year-old sexologist Dr. Nikki Goldstein took matters into her own hands and got her eggs frozen. Please welcome sexologist and author of #SingleButDating, Dr. Nikki Goldstein.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. First of all, Dr. Nikki, why did you want to do this?
Well, I think for me, this is something that was always introduced to me as an option. But it wasn't until I started doing research for the book and I thought, well, hang on, let's look at the impact of how this really affects our dating lives and our love lives. And I spoke to a fertility specialist and she said, let's put your details into the egg test calculator. I was 29 at the time and she said to me, if you freeze your eggs now, you have about a 38 to 40% chance that these will actually survive under the current technology to a baby. And it was like a bulldozer just kind of knocked me because I thought, this is something we hear as a foolproof plan and it's not. So I started looking at this whole concept of, egg quality and quantity declining and that maybe I was better off to do it when my egg quality and quantity were very good and I had a better chance than to keep thinking I'll put it off and maybe only end up with a very small percentage chance that this was something that would be an option later down the track.
What's actually involved with having your eggs frozen?
So what they do is they pretty much jack up what your body can naturally do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you get injected with a follicle-stimulating hormone. So we want to get as many follicles going on in the body.
Okay.
Not every follicle is going to have an egg, but then they try and grow those follicles. So maybe the bigger follicle, the more likely will have an egg inside.
Wow.
So it's about a 2.5-week process. So they're stopping you from going into early ovulation. So it's like putting the gatekeepers on. And you do get very full because I was carrying about 21 follicles and they can go up to 2.5 centimeters in diameter. So you do kind of feel like you're pre-pregnant. You do start to get reconnected with your fertility because when you feel that going on and you realize what your body is capable of, as a woman that knows that they want children, but it's not happening right now, I think it really ties you into that and starts to make you think about, what choices that you're making in life and how, is this going to be an option for me?
Wow. Now, I understand there were some unexpected side effects. What were they?
I think emotionally was the difficult one, and I knew this going into it, that I would be injecting myself with hormones. So you go, okay, I'm going to go a little crazy, and for me, I thought if I spend 2.5 weeks sitting on the couch eating chocolate, that's how I'm going to survive.
Yeah, pretty much.
But then what happened is that it exacerbated a lot of issues that were going on inside my head. So, going into this, I was, questioning my relationship status. I'd gone through a recent breakup. Then you inject yourself with hormones and you don't know where the hormones stop and you start.
Yep.
So it's really difficult to work that out.
Wow.
But you've also got this body changing, and for me it wasn't so much during the process, it was afterwards, and I was just one of those unlucky people that didn't recover as well as some people
I didn't
do.
either. It made me bat crazy.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, for real, in real life. Like, I did this because, first of all, I was afraid that my kids was going to come out looking like Olivia because I was older. And so, no, really. And then, my husband got sick, and I just wanted to make sure that, we had that security behind us. And then, once I did it, yes, I gained a whole bunch of weight. I didn't know where it came from. That freaked me out, right? Yeah. And then I couldn't inject myself. I had to have somebody inject me. I couldn't do that. He's bold.
So wait, you had to inject yourself?
Yes.
Where?
In the stomach.
Really?
Yeah, I would thread it through. It's a very thin needle. But you can always freak out people when they're close to you and you go, do you want to do it for me? And people will go, no, it's okay.
Wow.
Well, now that you've done the process, was it successful?
It was successful. So it's very difficult. So I have 8 eggs sitting in the freezer in Sydney, but it's a very difficult number to work out how many you should go for because they don't know. This is the problem with egg freezing, is there's so much uncertainty at the moment about survival and how many eggs do we actually need, what these eggs are going to end up to be like. So I am considering going through another cycle because I would like around that 12 mark. Because for me, I think if I'm going to go through this and do this as something that potentially could be an option for me later down the track, I want to make sure I've done everything possible.
Got it.
That's right.
So, big question. How much does it cost to freeze your eggs?
Well, in America, it's about 10 to 15 grand. In Australia, we have come down in price, which is really good. And that's one of the reasons, too, even back home, I've been so vocal about speaking about it because I do want this to be an option for women. So if it's an option for women, we do need to see that coming down a bit.
Yeah.
But we also need to consider that, if you are in that younger age bracket and this is something you're considering might work in your life, start saving now.